Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and we're going to do a focus video for tomorrow's focus list, being June 30th, the last day of the month and the last day of the quarter. So we could actually see this follow-up move happen in the markets. Futures right now, as you can see, I just have a shot of the site, DayTradingRadio.com. As we show the futures overnight, you actually can come there and actually see the futures moving here overnight. They're up and moving higher. So right now things are looking good. We're going to just kick off and take a look back at the S&P chart today, and you can see the follow through. Today we had the Greek austerity vote this morning, and the market ran on that. Again, an interesting week with all this news and all this playing out, but overall the pattern played out like a charm here. As you know, when I trade each day, I stick to a set of rules in the market, and one of the methodologies I use is the 1-2-3 method, how to trade a channel and trade off of pivot areas. Pivot areas, in the way I'm meaning right now, is where our market moves from a high point, changes course, either moving down to up or moving up to down. And from these pivot areas, you can actually, look at certain areas. Like right here, we have a possible trend line, a little pop up here, and you have this as a pivot area, and this is a pivot area. And when you extend those lines there, and you actually see those lines make a parallel line, you could go back and actually back test this and actually see, when you have a 1-2-3 area, you can start to measure out the next move. So it's very important, once you have established 3 points of the chart and you start to see that bounce off of there. In this case, it was a multiple indicator setup. Another group of indicators I used, the stochastics oversold, the 200 period moving average, and the downward channel line. We got this bounce off of that level, and now we're pushing up towards the top part of the trend line. Stochastics are very bullish. So we definitely could get some follow through, maybe a gap up, maybe something. But this level right above us is a major level of resistance right now. And I think a lot of people might be looking for this. Just taking a rough estimate, it could range from 13.15 to 13.18, even 13.19, to represent this channel. And from that point on, a pullback wouldn't be out of the question. And it definitely wouldn't be bad. Overall, this pattern is a bullish pattern. So even if we do get a pullback, it starts representing the possible break to the upside and eventually new highs in the market, where I think that would blow some really blow some stops out of the water. If we can break out of this channel to the upside. So looking good for tomorrow right now. At least up to that 13.18 level, the upward trend line. We actually had a nice little target I sent out yesterday to that 13.08 level on the cash, represented by the 60-minute chart, which you could always break down the 60-minute chart. And again, we see some pivot areas here, just some little areas, the low here, the low here. So I'm just extending some trend lines. And this was all put into place yesterday, and you can actually see this channel line that played out, and we double bounced off of this channel line and moved right up here to the 13.08, 13.09 area. 13.07 we closed at, and this was today's target for this to the upside. So that was a nice level to run into, and that's where we left off today. So tomorrow, if we get that follow through, we're looking at again 13.18. Top part of that range. Stochastics have the momentum. I think the market has some momentum in it, and it really, again, any news that comes out can affect the market in either direction. So let's take a look at some individual stocks. We really started taking some profits into the strength, and now I'm going to let things set up again. Basically, we have some good setups in the market that I still am holding, so I'm going to concentrate on those. I still think we have a huge move in AOL coming up. AOL. Let me get that chart up here. Get rid of all these old buy triggers. You can actually see AOL in a kind of a channel down here, a nice basing channel. This is actually a very nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head. The 2085 represented kind of the neckline. It had a spike higher to 200. This type of action, stochastic getting that crossover right now. There was a nice little trend line. We represented a buy level right here. So you have that 2-day, 3-day run. It's not running away, but I do expect this to test the 200 period moving average, 2150, and move higher out of this. Really do. Love the setup here on AOL, one of my favorites. So currently long there, and continue to be long. AGU. This is a great stock just to go back and just look at it. Just look at the pure chart on this, and the first thing you notice is this kind of slanted inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is a sign of an upside breakout, especially with the stochastics pulled back and the divergence here. And the things are coming now. The news has cleared up. The market has actually taken on a more technical vibe to it, starting to pay attention to trend lines and stuff. When the fear is in the market and there's news events and things are getting very choppy, that's when the method you have to really cut back, or I have to cut back, take smaller shares. When things start to right themselves and then you can start taking larger quantities in the trade and really start to see some good follow through. So this was an interesting wedge pattern that was playing out, and I kind of usually look for that wedge pattern break up to the upside, but there's a high back here that represents, if we take this high right over here and extend that out to this trend line, you'll see this makes almost a parallel, almost a perfect channel line, and I could actually adjust this a little bit better, and it is actually a channel line. We want to take that right to that low there, and you can see the equal distance here. We can take this to this low, the candlestick low over here, and now you start to see this channel is really played out. So this would be a target here on AGU, and it's a good way of trading a downward wedge pattern. Downward wedge pattern is definitely an upward breakout area, but a target's very easily calculated by, instead of using the wedge, extend that top trend line out to a perfect parallel channel, and that channel line would be the target. So that's on AGU. Just wanted to show you that, just to keep that education coming through. A great technique to use off of that. Now there's going to be a lot of great setups now that again this news is over. I'm kind of looking forward to the summer. I mean, it was last 2 weeks. It seemed like we had everyone coming out calling for 40% corrections and stuff, and it messes with your head. It really does. It's sometimes it's better just to turn off the TV and just watch the charts and feel the action and get in the zone with the market. And that's what we do here, and that's what I'd like to do each and every day. So RLD is a new one. I started a position in on this little pullback. This had a gap down and basically just started on this this pullback here, this dropout. Picked up the shares, and they're just holding basically in positive territory right now. Picked it up right down here. I'm going to look for this to move back up. I think it's a good risk reward trade right here. RLD, Real 3D. This is the 3D that you see in all the movies that are coming out with 3D. You'll look at the trailers and it'll say filmed in Real 3D. That's this company. So keep an eye on any of your things there. Cisco, I actually put an alert on Cisco today going into tomorrow just for an overnight scalp if anybody wanted to take that. Had some good momentum. We got a nice crossover. And we're just looking for 30 cents. Just some follow through on this one tomorrow. Things are starting to look good on Cisco. Even though it's a dead dinosaur type of stock, there's a gap up here. There's definitely that 20 period moving average being tested. You have a right shoulder. We never really pulled back after. There was a downgrade here, but we never broke recent lows, which is positive. So we're now making that W pattern. And things look I'm loving the follow through tomorrow. So we're going to look for strength in Cisco. RHI is one of the stocks that hasn't really started moving yet, but I do like the W pattern here playing out too. This is another channel line break, pull back, and then starting to move back up, and not really moving out, but something I'd be watching also on this one. So RHI going to be on the focus list for tomorrow. RADS, we did take profits on RADS today. RADS. Yesterday actually, and it's actually pushing up against 21. And the only reason I did this is I think this has a good shot of popping here. Radiant Systems is a point of sale stock where we kind of concentrate on those. You go to the Burger King, they have those machines. Oh, I'll have a Whopper, please. And they push in the machine. Well, they make the machines, Radiant Systems. Showing good strength, pushing up against 52-week highs. If you're a type of player who likes to, I'm saying player like you're a player, like a casino player. If you're a trader who likes 52-week out breakouts and possible spikes, like a big expansion breakout, this possibly could happen. If not, a pullback, it might fail. Either way, just want to keep it on the radar. VALE and PBR, two Brazilian stocks. This one is, it looks like it's ready to break through this area. Stochastics are still pretty good. I've traded this one a lot when it sets up, and again, I'm always looking for the pullback and the divergence. And again, we're starting to see the stochastics work good with the channels again. This is an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, because the stochastics pull back. Now the trend line's about to be broken, so VALE set up for tomorrow too. TCK, very similar setup here. Stochastics still look okay. And again, another nice channel. We've been really killing the channels, and as long as we just have the patience to get our move, this is a high probability setup, high probability setup, high probability setup. Stochastics, oversold. This is really beautiful, and this type of pattern usually breaks to the upside. If we had any type of, now that these things are really what I call patterning out, we could pay attention to them. If it happens to ever come back down to this level, easy trade. If this actually still looks good. If we get a consolidation and we get a little pullback on the, and get some consolidation, and looking for that break up on TCK. So TCK also looking good. GE off the 10 for 1,000 watch list. Well, actually, love the GE here. The gap down, pushing a little bit higher. I'm surprised this one hasn't run more. Kind of stuck in the mud. So I'm going to pass on that for now. APH took profits in that, but this one represents another good example of what I look for each day on Day Trading Radio. And sometimes you might might be on the radio and you might see me just manage positions because everything's working out properly and I'm letting these things move on. Down the road, just if for whatever reason, now that I'm out of this stock, it got a nice bounce. For whatever reason, it happens to pull back down here. I know there's another area I want to be in. Still looks pretty good. Stochastic still looks strong. I think you're going to get some follow through here. But again, it just works off the methodology of the 1, 2, 3 method here, channel recognition. And this also works on the 1 minute S&P charts. So when we trade the futures, very easy to just capture, waiting for your area. The futures moving down, you have a recognized 1, 2, 3 pattern. You buy the futures, get a 2 point bounce off of that. We're talking ES mini, doing the same thing. So 1, 2, 3. This should be actually 3. I don't know why it's 4. 4 should be down here. You're trading 4. You're trading 4 and you're trading 5. And the same thing, like during the day when we're covering the ES mini. Same if you see this type of pattern show up in the ES mini, which I'm mapping out. Maybe we can go out to the ES mini fast. I'm actually looking at the site. I'm not in the office right now. But if we actually started channeling out of here, I'd mark out the areas where that high probability setup would set up, and gives you a good indication of where we might bounce from there. All right, so APH looking great. Again, the whole key to